Today I am going to introduce you all to the glarbians of the globaxy. Disclaimer: this text is all stolen from the wiki page lol.
Current members: Star-Lord. Name: Peter Quill. Species: Human Celestial Hybrid. Activity: August 2014 to 2018, 2023, present. Status: alive. Description: a human celestial hybrid who was kidnapped from Earth by the Yondu Ravager clan at the age of 8. After living in space for nearly 30 years, Quill became wrapped up in an intergalactic conspiracy that caused him and his former inmates to form the Guardians of the Galaxy, with him becoming their leader. He is also the owner and one of the pilots of the Milano. Quill was one of the many killed after being disintegrated when Thanos snapped his fingers, wiping out half of the universe. He was resurrected 5 years later along with most of his fellow teammates, and soon after also survived the Battle of Earth. Rocket Raccoon. Name: Subject: 89P13. Species: Half-Worlder. Activity: August 2014 to 2018, 2023, present. Status: alive. Description: a half-worlder resembling a Terran raccoon that was genetically modified by an alien race, giving him human-level intelligence. However, years of repetitive genetic rewrite and abuse resulted in Rocket developing a cynical and vain personality, making him an ideal mercenary and teammate to the other Guardians. After the events of the war against Thanos, Rocket was one of the very few members who survived the snap. He was able to reunite with the remaining Guardians 5 years later, and soon after also survived the Battle of Earth. Groot. Name: Groot. Species: Floricolossus. Activity: August 2014 Original, August 2014 to 2018, 2023, present. Offspring status: deceased. Original: alive. Offspring description: a sentient tree-like individual and accomplice of Rocket Raccoon. Groot's physiology renders the limits of his speech to the phrase, "I am Groot, and we are Groot," due to having no wooden larynx. Though Groot's vocabulary is only limited to 5 words, he usually tries to communicate with other meanings. The only way to understand Groot's speech is for someone to translate what he is trying to say, which Rocket and Quill are able to do as they have spent enough time with him. Groot sacrificed himself to save the rest of the team during the Battle of Xandar, and a new Groot was born from his remains. The new Groot was one of the many killed after being disintegrated when Thanos snapped his fingers, wiping out half of the universe. He was resurrected 5 years later along with most of his fellow teammates, and soon after also survived the Battle of Earth.
Drax the Destroyer. Drax species, Kylosian activity, August 2014 to 2018, 2023 present status, alive. Description: a Kylosian who has been driven only by a burning desire to obtain vengeance against Ronan the Accuser who killed his wife and daughter. Following Ronan's death, Drax realizes that Thanos is the true perpetrator of his family's demise and vows to kill the Titan when the time comes. Drax's quest for revenge resulted in him joining the Guardians. Drax was one of the many killed after being disintegrated when Thanos snapped his fingers, wiping out half of the universe. He was resurrected 5 years later along with most of his fellow teammates, and soon after also survived the Battle of Earth. Mantis activity, October 2014 to 2018, 2023 present status, alive. Description: a young empathic woman raised by Ego and recruited as a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Since she was a child, Mantis helped ease Ego's neurotic behavior with her powers until the Guardians of the Galaxy came to his planet. After bonding with Drax, she came to care for the Guardians and allied with them to help to prevent Ego from conquering the galaxy. With her servitude to Ego ended, she became a full-fledged member of the Guardians and accompanied him on further adventures. Mantis was one of the many killed after being disintegrated when Thanos snapped his fingers, wiping out half of the universe. She was resurrected 5 years later along with most of her fellow teammates, and soon after also survived the Battle of Earth.
Nebula. Name: Nebula. Species, Lufamoid. Activity, October 2014, 2023 present status, alive. Description: a Lufamoid assassin and an adopted daughter of Thanos. She is also the adopted sister of Gamora. She served under Ronan the Accuser's commands during his and Thanos' quest to retrieve the orb. After briefly encountering and fighting her sister again, Nebula assisted her and the other Guardians in stopping Ego. She then left the team to go and find Thanos in order to kill him, and she nearly succeeded but ended up getting captured. During the war against Thanos, she was able to escape and rejoined the team on Titan, and was one of the few survivors after her father wiped out half of the universe. She reunited with the remaining Guardians 5 years later after their resurrection, and soon after also survived the Battle of Earth. Thor name, Thor Odinson species, Asgardian activity, 2023 present status, a live description, the former king of New Asgard as well as a former and founding member of the Avengers. After the Battle of Earth and Tony Stark's funeral, Thor renounced his position of royalty to join adventures with the Guardians, passing on the responsibility of New Asgard to Valkyrie. Deceased members: Yondu Udanta name, Yondu Udanta species, Centaurian activity, October 2014 status, deceased description, leader of his own clan of the Ravagers and father figure to Peter Quill. When Quill betrayed the Ravagers and stole an orb for himself, Udanta led the hunt for his former ally. Eventually, Udanta caught up with Quill but was convinced to help in winning the war against Ronan the Accuser, who was threatening to use the orb's power to destroy the planet Xandar. Udanta eventually joined the Guardians after Taserface led a mutiny against him before he gave his life to save Quill during Ego's destruction. Gamora name, Gamora species, Zehobarii activity, August 2014 to 2018 status, deceased, original, description, one of the last survivors of the Zehobarii race and an adopted daughter of Thanos. Renowned as the galaxy's deadliest assassin, Gamora had a falling out with her father that caused her to rebel against him, thereby making her an enemy of Thanos and his associates. Her fugitive status led to her becoming a member of the Guardians. Gamora was killed after being used as a sacrifice by Thanos to claim the Soul Stone.